Hi, Dan. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Josh?
I wonderful. You rock, baby.
That's right.
Yes, you are the number one pick in whole of our team in Oakland, October 24. And so that's why I'm glad to meet you in California Business Broker Association annual meeting. Yeah, let's go for. Please tell us your story.
Yeah.
Yes.
How far back do you want to start? When I was a baby, or where do
I
you want?
but I found out you starting first job. You are number one employee when you was 14 years old.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're going back to my roots. So, yeah, I grew up in a basic home outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Blue collar, father working at General Motors. My parents started a business when I was 13,
Mm,
14 years old.
mm,
I was employee number one of the company. And so I got to experience what that's like to grow up in a family that is doing entrepreneurship and
mm,
going through that grind and long nights. And yeah, I watched my father, go to work at night for third shift and come home and then run the business that they were starting during the day and do it all over again, over and over again. And that
mhm,
work ethic probably came from his family background of farmers and everything like that. So
mm,
um, I think the story I shared with you guys at the California Association of Business Brokers was
mhm,
the other thing that was going on for him was that he had stage 3 colon cancer, and so
mm,
in between everything as well, he was going in for chemotherapy every week and fighting cancer, and he's still alive today. Very proud of him, and so
mhm.
really for him, just growing up,
Is that?
seeing, parents that were very strong to like start a business, and then for him doing like another
Mm,
job at this side and fighting cancer, just no excuses as you go build a
mm,
future, right? So that's
mm,
the home that I grew up in before I continued into college afterwards, and
mm,
that's kind of where I went to like phase 2 in my life, where when I went to college, I was originally going to be an educator. I was in second grade.
mm.
I was going to be teaching second graders. I was in my fourth
Yes.
year, and I actually bought a franchise in the home service industry. So uh,
Mm,
I did that so that I could learn how to run a summer business and
mhm,
make money outside of being a teacher during the normal year. And so that's why I got into entrepreneurship in the first place, was simply
mm,
just to have a side job in the summer. And I
mhm,
ended up falling in love with it. I made more money in that 3 month summer while in college than I was going to
mhm,
make after college.
mhm.
So that's how the whole thing started to get into franchising. So
Mm.
did you want me to get into that whole career path, or what did you want
That's
from?
wonderful. Wonderful. I know for we have no time to listen for whole story, but then why you did start and cultivated advisor? What is motive? What is reason to starting cultivated advisor?
Yeah. Yeah, so
Mm,
I'll sum it up that part of it is from also my franchising background. So when I
mm,
owned a franchise, I was then recruited to do franchising. So I sold franchises, I trained franchisees from the ground up to drive a business from zero revenue into, the millions. And after doing that over and over again with one system, moving on
mhm,
to other systems, um, there's not there's not a really, really good scaled advising program out there that allows business owners to take advantage of the knowledge of previously scaled
mm,
exited business owners. And so franchise systems have their great opportunity to lean on their executive team and learn from them and get coached
mm.
on starting your first business. But a lot of business owners out there do not get all of that as well. They're on their
That's
own,
right.
they're
Mm,
building their business. And so that was kind of the first thing that got it going,
mhm,
where we wanted to create something that had that same feel.
mm,
And really, we were asked to advise one of our friends from our old college pro days,
mhm.
which was one of the franchises that we were in. And he basically took us out for a steak dinner to help him out and advise him on the business. And it was like, what would it take to do this monthly?
Mm,
And it's like, okay, well, let's talk about that. So client number one was Mike, and he's already exited. He scaled his business and exited. He had a great story. But
mhm,
yeah, we just kept doing that, building more and more, and so we started it because franchising and that experience told us that the everyday entrepreneur needs that same level of support, if not more. And then just also the background of owning our own businesses and understanding what it's like to be out there in the world of being an entrepreneur. It can be very lonely. Need somebody to soundboard on. And most of all, it's like, do you trust the input you get on how do you scale this thing? How do you grow it? How do you make it healthy so you have a great exit if you ever want to sell this thing? So yeah.
So okay. We'll talk a minute later about more what is your area and category of service. Then you starting Cultivate Advisor 2013. Then what is moment of tipping point? What is most risky moment? There when is the business run through itself? Can you share when is the most risky and dangerous moment in business, or when is for tipping point in your business?
Yeah. And I think risk is viewed in many different ways, right? Some would view risk as, taking out some debt to, take risk with, debt to go scale faster, to have capital to jump. Some would view risk as far as like investing more time in the business and it pulls you away from your family. And there's a risk in that on your relationships and everything like that. So what I'd say is we all as entrepreneurs have a million different stories of what risk felt like for us. But I'd say, I'll tell you the tipping point that started to change the path of the business. Our advising firm, my original thought was like, this might be like a 5 to 10 person firm. And today we're at 110. But at that time, I was really more viewing it as like a lifestyle business, something that I got to do that I really enjoyed for business owners and be making great money and have a simple, family home life. And the tipping point happened here, whereas like my business partner, the co-founder, Casey, kind of was like, I think we got something bigger here, right? And the first bigger client that really asked us to get deeply involved in the future of the businesses that they had, that was our biggest paycheck. And we just, rather than selfishly like, taking that home and enjoying money right away, which would be the fun thing to do for anybody that a business starts to finally feel success, we took that capital and made some calls to people we trusted to find our first like other player to join the business and have money to have them move over and have capital for them to have, a job and to like invest in building the website more deeper and technology and making our business go beyond just a human service and start to think about, we need more people on the top end of the business. So that's when we brought in Will. And so Will was kind of head number 3. And that continued to capitalize with the other key people that we brought on the front lines. Like the first 7 people, including Casey and I, were a very important part of the building blocks to have core leaders that were willing to like grow and scale with us. And based on where we're at and where we're going, even people joining today, they're still on the front lines, right? They're still on the front lines. They're the most important people that have to be adaptable and ready to move up the ranks as this business grows and we scale more and more business owners across our clientele. So that was the tipping point, was taking capital and rather than enjoying it, throwing it right back into the business. And that's what we did every year. So I'd say every year feels like that. So
you starting 2013. When I see your information, it is a kind of for start and exponential growth in 2017 and 18, even COVID.
Yes. Yeah. Even through COVID. Yeah. COVID, we had big plans that year where we were gonna move in faster in that year. We slowed down the recruiting of our talent. The only talent that we hire are entrepreneurs that have grown, scaled businesses, have an exit at some capacity. And rather than bringing on a much larger team, we slowed down on how many people we hired that year to be our advisors, to advise clients. And we, just grabbed and held on tightly when it all hit. And it was a wild ride, right? We watched clients in one industry fall apart because COVID would just absolutely shut them down, like hospitality. And basically we were kind of working for free with them and said, hey, I know you can't pay us right now, but we'd love to just support you right now. You've been a great client of ours. We'll figure out later how we do this. And that was a big part of our journey with them. And then we had some clients that were new that called us when COVID happened, said, things are going crazy. I don't know how to manage all this revenue and make sure I do it with quality. And so we acquired a lot of clients through that process. So we lost some clients, we gained clients, and we ultimately continued growth through that period.